Sound of silence. Someone shared an old song with me and I liked its lyrics so much that I thought I'll share the lyrics and my interpretation of it in a video. Sound of Silence was written in 1962 by Paul Simon, and I cannot believe that it is still so relevant. Let me read the lyrics first, and I will tell you my interpretation of it after that. Hello darkness, my old friend. I have come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, beneath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share, and no one dare disturb the sound of silence. Fools, said I, you do not know, silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you, take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning and the words that it was forming. And the sign said, the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence. Here is a breakdown of the song the way I see it. I'm sure many of you will relate with the lyrics. Hello darkness, my old friend. I have come to talk with you again. He feels alone with nobody to communicate his thoughts. Nobody sees what he sees. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. From these lines, it is not clear what kind of a vision he is talking about, but from the rest of the song, we can conclude it is about oppression, injustice, manipulation, brainwashing, and consumerism. We all see different types of oppression, bias, and injustice, but we are sleeping, not understanding, and not even trying to understand what is behind. We take all the bias, sexism, casteism as a way of life. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. He finally starts seeing the problem and the cause, but he is still not doing anything. With all the wondering, pondering, traveling, reading, writing, gaining knowledge and experience over the years, a vision is planted in our brain. A wisdom about what is right and wrong, justice, injustice, bias. There could be anger towards so many things, inequality, but it remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, beneath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp. The metaphor used in this part is very heavy. Narrow means restricted. Cobblestone means paving stone tightly put together and firmly depressed into the ground, which means oppressed people with restricted rights. Halo means a ring of light around or above the head of a holy person, God, godmen, power, police. He feels like he's the only one who sees that mass of oppressed people and injustice toward them, created by the system, yet he still ignores it. I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. He has a clear vision now. The blinds on his eyes are finally off. He would like to scream and do something, but still not there yet, and touched the sound of silence. And so many of us must have been through this feeling when we became conscious of racial discrimination and other forms of oppression and injustice, superstitions in society. We saw the light, that ended the night, a journey from ignorance to knowledge to enlightenment. But we keep quiet. And in the naked light, I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. He realizes he is not alone who sees all that injustice. Many more, 10,000 people, maybe more. Although they think about all the problems around them, they are not ready to stand up and change the situation. A person like Narendra Dabholkar spreads a word against superstitions, black magic, and he is killed in broad daylight. So people have no courage to revolt against the system because no one dares disturb the sound of silence. At times I have wondered, why don't the women speak up against all the cruelty, emotional torture that they have been through in the name of gender roles? But then I understand that they would rather comply and let other people rule them than trying to change the system, afraid of being called names, maybe afraid that no one will marry them, and maybe afraid that they will get laughed at. People simply assimilate into the world as it is without challenging it, since no one dare disturb the sound of silence. Fools, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. He warns people about passiveness. If nothing gets changed and people keep complying, slowly they will get attuned to that and it will become even worse. Over the years, I have realized that a conversation about ignorance, injustice, inequality is important because by being silent, we are complying with all of it. Silence, like a cancer, grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. He's calling people to revolt, to change. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. But nobody answers the call. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. These are such beautiful lines. These lines make an allusion to the extreme capitalism and consumerism that is suffocating society. Neon represents the signs of commercial stores. We distract ourselves from the real issues and are not willing to detach ourselves from what is superficial. We spend time tweeting, posting selfies on Instagram and updates on Facebook to our 1,000 friends with the pictures of our dogs to the food that we consumed. But without engaging in actual meaningful contact and conversation with others, there are no meaningful emotional and social engagements. And the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said, "The words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence." At the time the song was written, besides TV, radio, and newspapers, the only way people could express their thoughts was through graffiti. The words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls. But they do not have an impact on the larger mass of people and whispered in the sound of silence. Now people have Twitter, Facebook, social media to spread a word, to push people into action, to bring change, but you cannot reach a wider audience. And it still remains a whisper in the sound of silence. So the main message is extremely simple. We have to look around, listen to each other, pay attention to each other. Silence, like a cancer, grows, and if people keep feeding the world with ignorance, selfishness, idiotic beliefs, there will be no meaningful future. Superstitions, inequalities, discrimination, violence, and war, this is what our future will be. It is a revolt song against oppression, establishment, injustice, and passiveness of people. It is a warning and a call for change, a call for revolution. Maybe you have heard the lyrics before, or maybe this is the first time you are listening to it. In either case, I would love to read your take on it, so feel free to share your opinion and interpretation in the comments section. Thank you.